Imagine all the people living for today.
Hello.
The settlement of Drobyshevo was under Russian occupation from spring to the end of September. During this time, the Russians have destroyed almost everything in the village. The Kherson direction is the hottest on the southern front of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Fierce fighting there continues daily, and the closer to the front line, the more such pictures.
This is an army on a roll. The Ukrainians are taking advantage of Russia's faltering military, and now they have the city of Kherson in their sights.
Hello. Это работа САУ «Краб» по позициям российских войск на Луганском направлении. Таким образом, украинские артилеристы помогають в наступленні української піхоті.
Ворог зазнає дуже таких значних втрат. Спостерігаємо ми їх в коптері, люди собі окапуються, і ми вже під коригування коптерів, там, пташок, вже працюємо по них. І, після того, вже як піхота була відсічена нами, наша українська піхота вже собі забирає, повертає нам землю нашу.
Разведка вычислила российские САУМ-100С. Это самая новая российская артустановка. Украинские артиллеристы заряжают снаряд «Эскалибур». Он наводится по GPS-сигналу. Начинается контрбатарейная борьба.
Було застосовано 4 штуки по самохідних установках противника, це 20-19. В принципі, було успішно. 2 влучення в ціль і 2 влучення 3 метри від гармати.
Гаубица на огневой позиции. Сейчас опять будет наносить удар по целям. Очень сильно громко.
Бои на этом направлении очень динамичны. Каждая из сторон то наступает, то обороняется. Ситуация меняется каждый день.
На цій позиції тут останній тиждень дуже гарячі. У них більше артилерії, у них більше снарядів, але вони не продвигаються. У нас менше, але ми потрошку, по кілометр за тиждень, 5 кілометрів ми продвигаємося.
Экипаж этой машины говорит, что эта пушка сделала больше всего выстрелов из всех САУ «Краб», которые были поставлены в Украину.
Из нее выпустили уже 3500 снарядов, хотя польские производители заявляли ресурс ствола на 1500 выстрелов. Это пример того, насколько интенсивный здесь ведется артиллерийский огонь. Андрей Кузаков, Владислав Семелянец, Алексей Полей. Настоящее время. Украина.
Вот это я понимаю.
Вот это залп, так залп.
Сбоку.
На колесную технику и вообще на технику. Да ну я вижу, ну что сделать. Пусть хоть как-то туда уходит. Наші мальчишки.
Можемо звільняти Херсон. Заходимо на чергову ворожу позицію, з якої вибили піхоту. Ого, Рафік. Що у нас? Тут вже, правда, використовується кухня, але нічого. Ви бачите, живуть як свині. Наступаємо на мотоблоках. Десанту вміщає 5 чоловік. Йоп твою мать! Є деякі питання до заходів безпеки, звісно. Ей!
The settlement of Drobyshevo was under Russian occupation from spring to the end of September. During this time, the Russians have destroyed almost everything in the village.
Первое, что мы увидели, это...
The first thing we saw was total destruction. Absolutely all institutions of culture, education, as well as houses of civilians were destroyed. You can see how the Russian invaders tried to plant their culture here, handed out newspapers from the so-called Donetsk People's Republic, and also tried to brainwash the Ukrainian population that they were no longer welcome in Ukraine. But this wasn't true. The Ukrainian army is already here. Before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, 2,500 people lived in Drobyshevo. Today, only a little more than 1/3 residents remain. And they recall the months of occupation with horror. Russia came to us on May the 15th. They shelled us non-stop from 7 to almost 3 o'clock. It was impossible to get out of here. And at 3 o'clock, the Russian occupiers already began to walk down the streets and enter the yards, opening the gates with their feet. When Ukraine entered, everything got back to normal. But our village was damaged, really damaged. Our house is destroyed as well as the summer kitchen, the main room and the cellar. Their shells hit the same place twice. Victor says that the Russian invaders stripped the men to the waist and tortured them.
The Russians stripped me to the waist and checked me, and my phone was also checked. They are worse than the Germans. Honestly, I am looking at this and the Germans did not do it the way the Russians do. They did no damage to the house so harshly. The Germans, as my grandmother used to say, destroyed a house or two, but it wasn't such a mess. They passed us and moved on. But Russian invaders, they burn everything.
Now the village is gradually returning to its normal state. This is the 6th time in the last month and a half that the mobile branch of Укрпошта, Ukrainian postal service, has come here. The employees bring pensions and other social benefits for locals. We issue pensions, subsidies, assistance, goods sold by Укрпошта, parcels, utility bills. We replenish phones accounts, everything that the post office did. In addition to cash, the mobile post also brings a minimum set of products. Shops in Drobyshevo do not function yet, so people sweep away everything. People were standing in the rain and immediately bought all the goods. People didn't even see regular food during the Russian occupation. Therefore, they are happy to have even canned food, cookies and sweets. They're just very happy. In addition, some products can be purchased from private carriers. One of them is this man. He brings bread from Svetohirsk. Serhiy came here for the first time since Russian occupation to see what condition his house is in.
It's impossible to live here. The Russians destroyed my house. I came here to see if there was anything to repair, but it is impossible. The Russian occupiers damaged everything.
And although everything acquired is destroyed, the man says that the main thing is that his family is safe. They will find where to spend the winter.
We'll stay here for a little longer. Maybe we'll bring something else here, clear the debris, clean the house up at some places, but it's impossible to restore it by winter, so that we could live here. So we'll go. My wife and I came, and the son came, but he's already left with his kids.
Today, residents of Drobyshevo are recovering from the Russian occupation, trying to repair damaged houses, clear the rubble, and really hope that they will never have to experience something like this again. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Anastasia Volkova, UATV News. The Kherson direction is the hottest on the southern front of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Fierce fighting there continues daily, and the closer to the front line, the more such pictures. This village, like several neighboring ones, was completely destroyed. Schools, recreation centers, shops, everything is destroyed. There are no surviving houses. The heavy fire of Russian artillery turns entire settlements into ruins. But on the front line, the armed forces of Ukraine are ready to change their position, to move further and push the enemy out of Ukrainian land.
8 people live in such a dugout. Everyone has sleeping bags. Everything is provided. Everyone has warm clothes. We are quite ready for winter. But we are not in the mood to meet winter here. Everyone is ready to meet the winter in Kherson. War is hard work, and the one who does it better wins. So we are learning now, not only when we were formed. We accumulate experience and apply it in daily activities.
This is the highway to the Crimea. Previously, trade was in full swing on the roadsides. Melons and watermelons of the Kherson region were sold here. Now, instead of trays with goods, there are craters from shells.
The whole road is broken. Here you can see the potholes every day, several times. Basically, so far. And today, there may be more. There is shelling here every day, so you need to be careful.
We are now literally a few meters from the border with the Kherson region. Let's show how Ukrainian artillery works right on the front line.
BM-21 Grad multiple launch rocket system. This is our workhorse that helps us take back our land.
Vadim has been operating this multiple launch rocket system for 3 years now. First he fought in Donbass after 2014. Now he serves in the south.
We were fired at by aviation, Grad and Tornado multiple launch rocket systems. We have survived the shelling from different kinds of weapons.
A volley from the Grad MLRS has 40 rockets. Their ultimate goal to hit the positions of the Russian invaders, which are 20 kilometers from here.
It takes about 30 minutes to sweat to charge them, and it takes only 20 seconds to fire them all, very fast.
After firing full volley, the MLRS crew quickly leaves the position and moves for a new location, having received the target data.
The Russians are still working according to the old schemes. Let's say they need 40 minutes to aim at a target. Using the maps, calculate this all. And we work via satellite. There is a special American program, and literally 5 minutes is enough for us to arrive, shoot back and return. So we have a big advantage over them in this regard.
They know timing well, right?
Yes, we hit our targets more, and we shoot more economically, not like them.
Do they have more weapons than we do?
At the beginning of the war, they had a very large advantage, but now, I would say, 1-to-1. We even have an advantage, so we are no longer behind.
The coordinates are set. The Ukrainian military inflicts point strikes on the positions of the occupiers. In the south, the armed forces of Ukraine have liberated more than 40 settlements as of now. The front line is moving forward every day. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Daria Letovchenko, Denis Sinchenko, UATV News.
This is an army on a roll. The Ukrainians are taking advantage of Russia's faltering military, and now they have the city of Kherson in their sights. The road in is scarred and littered with the debris from months of brutal fighting. We pass a Russian army truck which has been destroyed, but you can still see the cargo of looted goods. As the artillery team reaches the launch site about 20 kilometers from the port, the soldiers quickly spring into action.
As the Russians withdraw, the Ukrainians are continuing to engage them with barrages of artillery. They are unclear what the retreat means and how quickly it will happen.
They are keeping up the pressure after Russia's defense minister announced the Kremlin's forces were falling back to the other side of the Dnipro River. It is a significant defeat. It's estimated there could be thousands of Russian soldiers still on the West Bank, potentially trapped. Here, shallow dugouts by the side of the road have now been deserted. Ukrainian firepower has pushed them out of this area. Artur, whose parents are still trapped in occupied Kherson city, hopes it will not be long before they are reunited.
Наша піхота зараз зачищає селища від залишків російських військ, які вже почали активну фазу відступу. Але вони не відступають так повністю, прям масштабно. Взяли, відступили, вони також чинять опір, як і раніше, але просто з меншою кількістю людей.
Ukrainian progress has been stymied by mines and bridges that have been blown, but they are winning here on the southern front. This video shows soldiers in newly liberated Snehorivka, the national flag proudly on display. But even as new places are freed, they're still trying to comprehend the full horror of Russia's occupation. Volodymyr shows me where he buried his uncle. Ukrainian war crimes investigators have now exhumed the body. He tells me he was shot multiple times by Russian soldiers.
Він лежав на кроваті, права сторона вся була прострелена. Ну, я не скажу, що очередю, видно, нажали, що і голова. В общем, від ноги і до голови все було простреляне. Права сторона, все.
There are so many stories like this. The pathologist at this morgue says widespread evidence of war crimes is clear.
До нас поступають всі із ознаками насильницької смерті. Уламки, кульові поранення, тому їх багато.
And as more places are liberated, it's expected more atrocities will be uncovered. But there is still a long way to go in this fight, even though victory here may not be far away. Alex Rossi, Sky News, in Kherson region.
Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too.